In your 20s, you think you'll have it all figured out by 30. And then in your 30s, you realize life is far more layered. And when you reach 40s, well, you stop chasing certainty and start choosing peace. I moved countries twice. I left behind comfort, started again, and never looked back. But this is not a story about ambition. It's about clarity and what happens when you finally let yourself live slower. I first came to the UK as a student. I was young, curious, wide-eyed, full of possibility. The UK was my first taste of independence. I was learning more than just my subject. I was learning who I was outside of Greece. But after graduation, like many of us, I felt the pull of home. I missed the lights, the food, my family. So I packed up, returned to Athens, and began my career there. Working in Athens had its own rhythm. It felt familiar. The city was alive, chaotic, full of warmth. But over time, something shifted. The work, the pace. I started to feel like I was living someone else's version of adulthood. And then in 2010, I made a decision that would change everything. I left Greece for the second time. I came back to London, not as a student, but as a woman ready to build a new kind of life. It's been almost 15 years now. London is no longer just a city to me. It's where I built my career, my home, my life. I worked hard. I carved out a path in one of the world's most competitive cities. Building a career, navigating life on my own terms. I didn't always know what I was doing, but I kept moving forward. The city demanded it after all. But in the process, I began to crave simplicity, not just after work, but within it. In my 40s, I started to ask, what am I rushing for? And that's where slow living entered, not as a trend, but as a need. A coffee before the world woke up, a walk home under the city lights, little things like that kept me grounded. The truth is, I didn't always know I wanted a slower life. I thought productivity meant value, that filling every hour made me important. But eventually, I realized I was missing life while trying to perfect it. I began noticing joy in the pauses, in slow meals, quiet Sundays, reading in bed instead of scrolling. I stopped glorifying being busy. I began honoring my own energy. Now, I can say that I live differently. Not because I have changed overnight, but because I have paid attention to what really makes me feel whole. Creating content that aligns with who I am, sharing stories that resonate, and building a life that feels lived, not just performed. There is something beautiful about being in your 40s. You stop needing permission. You stop explaining your choices. You trust yourself a little more, even when the path looks different. Sometimes I wonder who I would have become if I had stayed in Greece, what my life would have looked like. But the truth is, we don't get to live both versions, do we? We choose one and we live it fully, or at least we should. That's what I've tried to do. Really honor the choices I've made, even the hard ones, even the uncertain ones. Because it's version of me, the student, the ambitious 30-something, the woman now, the mature woman now in her 40s, they have all led me here. I don't have all the answers, not even close. Life doesn't come with a map or a manual, and even when we think we know where we're going, things shift. We grow, we change, we fall, we heal, we pivot. What I've come to understand is this: life always unfolds in layers, one moment at a time, one lesson at a time. And often, the most meaningful chapters do not arrive with a grand entrance. They sneak in quietly, disguised as delays, detours, or even disappointments. But looking back, those moments, the ones that didn't make sense at that time, were still part of the story, necessary even. They shaped me in subtle ways, carving depth, compassion, and strength I didn't know I had. So no, my friends, I don't have all the answers, but now I trust the process. I trust that the unfolding is never random. Wherever you are in your own journey, whatever season you're walking through, whether you're building something new, letting go of what no longer fits, or simply learning how to rest, I really hope you give yourself permission to be in it fully. Let it be what it is, loud or quiet, fast-paced or beautifully still. There is no one-size-fits-all when it comes to living a meaningful life. There is no right way. There is just your way. And that, I think, is more than enough.